Hey everybody, this is Curtis from PSN Stores, and today we are looking at Shovel Knight. We're just gonna go right from the beginning of the game. Start up a new file. Of course. Who else? But everyone's favorite new character. So let's go. Long ago, the lands were untamed and roamed by legendary adventurers. Of all heroes, none shone brighter than Shovel Knight and Shield Knight. But their travels together ended at the Tower of Fate when a cursed amulet wrought a terrible magic. When Shovel Knight awoke, the tower was sealed and Shield Knight was gone. His spirit broken, a grieving Shovel Knight went into a life of solitude. But without champions, the land was seized by a vile power, the Enchantress, and her Order of No Quarter. Now, the tower is unsealed and devastation looms. A new adventure is about to begin. It's shoveling time, so that is your introduction to Shovel Knight. That is what you need to know. The Enchantress is bad news, and so is the Order of No Quarter. It is up to you as the Shovel Knight to take charge, take the Enchantress down, as well as her crew. So controls are pretty simple. I can hit square and dig up these piles of dirt. I can jump and then hold down on the D-pad to do your little, it's not really a pogo bounce, but you can bounce on certain objects, so we'll see that soon. And every enemy, like every dirt pile, it's, they're dropping jewels that you can collect, and that is your currency, and we'll be able to spend that a little bit later on. You see along the top, you have my life bar. You got the boss life bar that we'll see once we reach the end of the stage. The item thing, you'll get item power-ups, and that'll be kind of your mana that you can use for each item, and then you'll be able to pick up stuff to restore it. Throughout the game, you'll get things that will increase the amount of mana you have, increase the amount of life you have. You actually get upgrades to your armor as well. One of my favorites, personally, is a very fancy armor suit that doesn't actually do anything for you, but it makes your jumps look really cool. Alright, so first thing here. So here's your checkpoint. Each stage has a set amount of checkpoints. They are these kind of orbs here with flame inside them. What you can do, if you want to risk it, you can actually break these. And if I remember correctly, it actually grants you more gold. So by breaking the checkpoint and kind of foregoing that checkpoint, you can continue throughout the level and kind of have higher rewards. However, if you die, that checkpoint is gone. So pretty cool mechanic there. I like it quite a bit. Usually, I usually don't break the checkpoints, especially in like the later levels. I don't typically want to risk it. This game can get pretty tough. So, okay. Shovel Knight, I played Shovel Knight last year on the Wii U when that came out, and loved it. It was one of my favorite games last year, by far. This game is incredible. I'm really excited to see it on these platforms, just because now my fellow editors will finally be able to play this game and know what I'm talking about when I say this game is great. But I'm kind of excited to play it again on the Vita and PS4. But yeah, I instantly fell in love with this game last year. One, because it very much, if you if you grew up loving like the Mega Man games, like if those are games that you like, you will love this game. This is very much a game kind of for you. It really does harken back to Mega Man specifically. There are some other kind of old school games that it might remind you of, but Mega Man specifically was the one for me that was like, yeah, this is totally, you know, people who made this game are even they're totally fans of Mega Man. But it's not like, it's more of a, you know, kind of slight homage. You can see where they're coming from here, but Shovel Knight is one of those games that even though it looks old school and it sounds, you know, old school and all of those respects, it plays, it's more of a modern game. I kind of said before, like, Axiom Verge is this year's Shovel Knight in a way, because they're both games that are very much kind of harkening back to an older time, and they are very much inspired by some old school games, but they're very modern in their design, especially just how they play. Like, Shovel Knight plays so well. It's one of those things where sometimes there are games that you grew up playing and you remember them playing better, or you remember them being better than they actually are, and you go back to them and it's like, oh, this game actually maybe isn't as great as I hoped it would be, or as I remember it being. Whereas Shovel Knight, like, it plays how you remember these games playing. It's just, it controls so well, like, everything, you know. Oh, it's so good. It is so much fun. Once you beat it, you get like a kind of New Game Plus mode, some other things like that. If I actually pause it here, you have feats. There are 45 different feats. I'm going to assume, I haven't looked to check, but I would bet a lot of these tie into your trophies. So you have things like defeat an enemy by using a relic, which we might see some relics later on. You know, finishing the game, obtain and return all these song scrolls, successfully fish 5 sparkling fishing spots, finish the level without eating any food, you know, all these different things like that. So you have those as well. And, oh, the soundtrack to this game is really good, too. Now, you noticed back there's actually, like, hidden spots in the wall that you can break apart. There's one up here that we'll get to. Oh, I missed. So there are a lot of, like, the Order of No Quarter, which I love that name. That is kind of the series of bosses that you will fight throughout the game. Each one has their own stage. That stage is kind of unique to that boss. It has mechanics unique to what that boss does. So, like, Plague Knight kind of deals with kind of chemistry, like magic and weird things like that. And so his stage is very much kind of representative of that. You have Polar Knight, and so you have a snow stage and things like that. So it's, again, that is also kind of similar to your Mega Man style of game design. But also, as you'll see, once we finish this level, there's a world map that's kind of akin to, like, maybe like a Mario Brothers 3, where there are different towns that you can go to, and each town has all these villagers, and that's kind of where you do your upgrades, and there's some different shops and things like that. But there's also like special levels, like mini stages that are unique to the different relics that you find, so different skills that you get throughout the game. They have levels built around those skills to kind of test your skills with those relics that you find. Those are really fun. You also have hidden boss. They have these, like, optional bosses that you'll sometimes run into on the map, and that'll take you to, like, a boss area that you'll fight. So the original game had, I don't remember the exact count, but it was somewhere like, I think it was like 3 or 4 optional bosses. So one of the things that is added in this version is that Kratos is a boss that you can fight. Apparently he's hard to find or something, but So that is kind of one of the new things here, which I think is pretty cool. And the optional bosses can be pretty tough too. And they're just fun to fight. Oh man, this, yeah, I can't, you know, I could just go on and on about the soundtrack to this game. I love it. I absolutely love the soundtrack here. I think this might be... Alright, here we go. So here is Black Knight. He's kind of your like arch enemy throughout the game. You fight him a few different times. So we'll go ahead and kind of skip through this really quick. I also love that, like, you know, he just said steal thy shovel. I love the little like lines that they have to start out each level. Yeah, so if you're good enough, you can like kind of like pogo him a few different times. Oh, this fight's not going very well. I might actually lose this. Crap. Oh, no. Okay. Luckily, we got a checkpoint right there. So that's what it is. You notice I dropped money bags there. And I want to say, I could be wrong, I might be misremembering this, but I think that is, whether or not you break those checkpoints kind of determines how much you lose. But it's a thing where, like, you have to go and collect those again, so it's, you know, like another, game where when you die, you lose things, and you have to go get it again. I'm talking about Dark Souls. Oh, let's not, we can't die again. And that, oh, I love that. Like, every time you beat a boss like that, it kind of slows down. So, I won't, you know, say anything specific, but this game actually, you know, as Shovel Knight is fighting to get Shield Knight back, Shield Knight is, like, his companion, and the game actually has, like, a kind of narrative that it tells as you progress through the game. I don't know if it'll happen here, but you have these scenes like after each level, you kind of rest at a bonfire, and yeah, so sometimes you'll have these dreams where Shield Knight is falling, and you have to like fend off the area to catch her. And then as you progress, it gets kind of harder and harder because like more and more enemies will be swarming you. And so sometimes you get overtaken, you can't like quite get to her. It doesn't really do anything. You don't get anything special for catching her. You don't lose anything. It's just more of a way to kind of give you a feel for like, you know, Shovel Knight and Shield Knight, like their relationship, and you get a little bit more of that once you get farther in. So that is the first level, and so the way this opens up is we now have, there are 2 different stages we can do. We have the village here that we're going to go to, and then above and below us are 2 different stages. I want to say it's Spectre, and it might be King Knight, I think are the two enemies. 2 people that the Order No Quarter we need to take down. And then you see our pathway is blocked, and it's kind of fogged up the rest of the map, so the game is split up where you have to take down 2 or 3 different stages, and then you can progress farther. But you notice there's also a forest up there, so maybe we'll check that out. I don't know. Alright, so here's your towns. There is, I think there's 2 towns in the game. We have this guy here. Hail, traveler. I am but a simple bard, but I have a big problem. I've lost all my music sheets. My entire repertoire lays scattered across the land. If you ever find a music sheet, return it to me, and I shall reward you handsomely. So we found 2. So he's gonna pay us. So now that he has those music sheets, we can actually have him play any of the songs that we have found. So we've got the main theme, we've got Steal Thy Shovel, One Faithful Night, Decisive Blow, and there's, you know, a lot of them. So you start out with a few, and then you'll collect the rest throughout the game. So we have him. We've got the Gotician. So this guy, he will sell you different things, and so here we have the meal ticket. If we buy the meal ticket, we can go and upgrade our health. So we can go talk to this guy. Now we've got, you know, 5 bubbles instead of the 4. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and buy another one. So I don't think there's a whole lot of other things we can do right now with the money. Alright, if we go down here, there's some other people down here, but I don't want to, because there are some things that happen with them. We've got these guys here, and we've got this weird dude. Let's see what's going on. The TROUPPLE Acolyte. Hello, fish friend. All hail the TROUPPLE King. Who? You've never heard of the TROUPPLE King? Half trout and half apple? Pronounced like mouthful. He's one of the forest gods, here to help those in need. I'm telling the truth. If you ever visit the sacred grotto, hold your chalice aloft, and the TROUPPLE King will appear. As it happens, I have been entrusted to sell TROUPPLE chalices to believers. Would you like one? Oh, I forgot I can buy these, so we do not have enough, unfortunately. So these chalices, you can fill them with kind of health potion. So that way, if you're running low on health in the middle of a level, you can use one of those chalices to heal a little bit. I think you can also heal, you can fill it with like the mana stuff, so that if you need more, you can use that as well. Unfortunately, we don't have enough. This guy here is actually kind of sort of a shopkeeper. He will actually show up in some of the different levels. We've also got this girl. She's got this weird hoop we can actually bounce on. And I think there's a feat for like bouncing for like so many seconds, but it's kind of hard to do. Music sheet up there. I think we have to stand on her. Let's go take this music sheet back to that guy. Alright, so let's, before we end the video, I'm gonna show maybe a little bit of the first of the next stage. Alright, so we're not gonna go there in this video, but Trouble Pond, this is where the Trouple King is. All hail the Trouple King. You should check that out. So we can go to the Lich Yard, Lair of the Spectre Knight, or we can go to Pridemore Keep, Lair of King Knight. So we're gonna go here first. And Justice in Spades. So we'll go up to like the first checkpoint. But, so yeah, so the relics, which I don't know if we'll find any in this video. Most of the relics are actually hidden in kind of secret areas. It's not really mandatory to get them. You're not going to be like, you're not going to get one from killing a boss or anything like that. But they are useful, and some of them can be very good against certain bosses, we'll say. But the guy that you saw in that area where the Trouple Acolyte was, that guy will actually show up a lot of times, and sometimes he'll offer to kind of sell these relics. Or he'll just show up for other things. Oh, crap. Alright, so that's gonna do it. We've gone on pretty long here. But that is Shovel Knight. It is available now on, I think, every PlayStation platform, PS4, PS3, and Vita. Cross-save, cross-buy, all the things you'd expect. It is $15 if you're a PlayStation Plus member. I think it's a 10% discount, so it's like $13 or something. Look. This game, you should get this game. It is incredible. I love it. Actually, one thing I wanted to check, I don't know. So here is your relic, where the relics would be. Here's kind of where your gear is. It does not, it doesn't seem to have it. So, I guess it doesn't matter. In the Wii U version, they actually had a really cool mechanic where they took posts from the Miiverse and it was applied to every single screen. Like, this is one screen here. And so it was kind of a Dark Souls mechanic where you were like leaving messages. Sometimes there were hints, sometimes there were just other random things. Some people actually drew Shovel Knight. It was a super, super cool mechanic, but it was only in that version. It doesn't seem like they've done anything quite like that. I guess I don't really know what they could do in this, because PlayStation doesn't really have something like that. But it was a really cool mechanic. Anyways, that is Shovel Knight. This game is incredible. It was by far one of my favorite games last year. Really cool to see it now on PlayStation platforms. I think it's really neat that Kratos is in this somewhere. Like, I'm excited to do that boss fight. Just, it's new content, and it's kind of cool to see things like that happen. But that's all I've got. Again, the game's available now. We're gonna have a review up pretty soon, sometime this week. I'm sure we'll talk about it on the podcast at length. But you don't wait. Like, this game's really good, and people should play it. So, thanks for watching. That's all I've got, and I'll see you all later.